Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special Art Survival Evolved video today. Do you know it's been nearly 4 years, or it will be this December, that I've been covering Art Survival Evolved. In that time I've delivered nearly 2,000 videos talking about Ark, showing Ark, Let's Plays, live streams, you name it. I've seen maps particularly come and go, sponsored maps, modded maps and official. But what are the craziest? What are the most interesting? What are the weirdest? Today I'm going to be going through what some of them maps are and showing you briefly what you can go and download and try on PC right now. Yes, it is a modded video. Xbox and PlayStation fans, look away now. You probably will never play any of these unless you upgrade to a PC, but I still think these maps are worth showing off for everyone to enjoy how crazy Ark can get when talented modders really put their minds to it. Alright, we're here. So what makes this so special? I mean, it looks like I'm in some basic little swamp. Not much going on. Alright, we've got a few floating islands. I'll give you that. That's a bit cool. Some little crystals. Yeah. That's pretty. Got a ring of water here. It's like a little swamp area. That's what it feels like. It's not a very big map either. If we keep going along, you can just see there's just nothing but water. Goes on for days. Days. So yeah, just run around this whole map. And you're thinking, it's nothing that much special. It just seems like it's a really small, tiny map. And we rise up and away. Look what we got now. This is taking longer than I thought. It's gonna take too long for me to carry on doing a song of some sort. But you're starting to get the idea. If you really loved Pokemon. Alright, okay, maybe it's a bit underwhelming for some. Maybe you're really hyped and excited about playing on a Pokeball world. But that's exactly what this map does. It offers you the chance to play on a Pokeball world. And you know what? I'm digging it. Like I said, it's something silly. It's something a little bit interesting. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. It changes up Ark, and it's a bit crazy and it's a bit weird having just a island mass made from nothing but Pokemon shapes. Yeah, that's what's going on here. I don't know what all these white things are at the bottom. Maybe they're just lightings and stuff. Now, there are some islands and stuff. I presume it's just for extras, just to have if you did want to try and survive on this world. It's going to be pretty limited. It's clearly, I think, a good idea to play this like an event map. So you've got some friends. You could play maybe a game of a Command and Conquer or Team Deathmatch or something like that. Or just go and get the call. And then you've got a few more little caves, and then we've got actually a redwood biome. This has got to be like the world's tiniest small redwood. Look how like foggy it is. Like, are we like up in the atmosphere here now or what? Gotta catch them all. Don't at me. Digimon was better. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. Digimon for the win. I don't really know too much Pokemon. Other than Ash always seems like some sort of loser that can never catch them all. And the yellow one that ended up being with Ryan Reynolds in some movie or something. That's all I know. That's all I know. But yeah, you've got Redwood's thing there. Oh, we've got like big bad dinosaur. Big bad dinosaurs. No, it's not. It was just a tree trunk. And man, that looked like a T-Rex from distance. That totally did. So yeah, there you go. A little one. Now for the first of a bunch of maps that really utilise that alien feel from Extinction and Aberration. Lots of foliage, and just the design of it makes it feel like on a different type of island, a different type of Ark altogether. This map is Malfunction, and it's got these great big huge city pieces basically keeping the obelisks in place or helping support them. So more structures around the obelisk, making them seem much bigger than they are. And it's got this varied landscape where it's not quite alien-like enough, maybe for some people, but I also think it changes and mixes stuff up quite a bit. It's got this basalt that covers the whole landscape, as if the whole of this island has been at one point volcanic, or there's been some sort of catastrophe that's covered it in earth. And we'll see these great big huge machines that really lend itself to huge landmarks in the sky. You've also got these protective domes that I'm guessing you'll be able to do a lot of roleplay, and I think there's some substantial subterranean work going on here, particularly on the vein of like Aberration. The mod author has stated that conditions will have gravity drop, oxygen drops, radiation, and it's pretty much a total collapse. All the foliage has been changed to a dying sort of version. The outside has all been playable, so you don't have to just live in these sort of big domes, and there is a huge underworld, like I said. Lots of anomaly effects are also going to be imported into this map as well in the future. The map is based off early version of Ark when the redwoods was right in front of us right now, and you can see the dry riverbed, and that was all swampland over there. Huge amounts of swampland rather than what it was now, so you can kind of see the landscape very similar to the island, obviously with the big volcano on the left hand side, which has the original volcano in it, obviously not the reworked tech cave entrance, and that's exactly where the redwoods is now, and there's the volcano. Does bring back some feels exploring this land where you'd go up here just to get all your metal. This was like the premium place that you'd fly up. Once you got a fly, you get here and you'd have all the metal you needed. But undoubtedly for me, this is the star of this map, this huge excavation sort of, landmark. It's not obviously functional, but I just love the look of it. I love the idea that this island has now just been transformed into something industrial, and it's on a grand, huge scale where we're just going to be cutting into the side of this mountain, gathering resources, getting all them precious materials, using this absolute beast of a machine. It's absolutely freaking huge. You think about the city on Extinction and how big some of that stuff is. Well, this dwarfs it massively, and just look at the way it's cutting into the volcano. I love that look. I really like the idea of this map. Maybe the rest of the world does need a little bit of work for the extra biomes. It is meant to be this dead or dying, or I would say it was dead. It's now looking like it's rebirthing, because from the black basalt life does start to grow again, and that's why we see so many trees. Malfunction, great map if you want something big as a showpiece in the middle, and I'm guessing if you like Aberration and the city areas maybe combined, that's all going to be coming in the future on an old school island. I've shown this off a little extensively in the past with a live stream, but this next one is still definitely one of my favourites, and definitely I think really interesting. Certainly maybe not that weird. Game of Thrones of course is going to influence a lot of map creators. The world of Westeros is ripe for making a roleplay map where you could build towns and cities, or just freely explore the landscape. And of course you always have to start with the wall, and this is definitely one of the most impressive structures I think I've seen in a Ark Survival Evolved game. It is of course a snow wall, and you may argue it's not that, but the scale of it really makes it feel like it is the wall. And so if you want to combine that with your dinosaurs, you want to do some events, imagine what you could do here. Have one team on either side of the wall, and the winner is who can get to the top using just the natural resources, or battles, or castle versus people just at the bottom and stuff. It's also working on landscape. Newt, the creator of this map, has worked on a bunch of other stuff to do with Game of Thrones and importing it into Ark, so hopefully they don't fall foul too much of copyright laws. But the rest of the landscape's pretty as well. It's not just these one-off things plonked in the middle of any generic map. It's all sculpted, it's got lots of small landmarks, and they're looking in the future to keep working on the rest of the map to make it a faithful recreation of Westeros. It's even got the weird creepy blood tree as well. That's really cool as well. You can see the little face on it. Creatures obviously spawning that you would expect in cold biomes like bears, but not too crazy with the dinosaurs. So definitely one for events for now. And I didn't forget to take off the If They're Evolved event before I done this video. Leave me alone, bears. Just leave me alone. I had visions of getting some creators together to build an actual Castle Black and the keeps and stuff, and really go for it with some faithful build. And we was trying to use prefabs when I did my live stream, so maybe one day I'll get back to that if I can get some help. There's actually a working mod that imports a lift as well, so you can actually use a lift that will take you up to the top of the castle wall. Great map, really interesting, and I love stuff like this fan made in other games. All together now. So I mentioned alien landscapes, and I don't think you get more alien than what I'm about to show you now. Exogenesis is crazy. The colours involved, the huge scope of the skybox, it just absolutely blew me away with this one. Look how big it is, look how massive that skybox is, with something quite interesting. The rest of the landscape's got these various blue sort of rocks and stone with these alien mushroom like trees, obviously set against the backdrop of the city parts from Extinction, but they're more spread out, they're everywhere, and you can really feel like this was a living breathing world. It wasn't just some weird city in the middle that had all this corruption around it. Really love the landscape, maybe a bit too much for some people, but it really does change Ark up and makes it into something completely different in my eyes, with all the alien landscape around and going really out there, even more than the corrupted zone on Extinction. including these great big massive domes, and you've seen these a lot in some other maps. Grumpy Town did it as well, that you saw at the very beginning from my good friend Frasonis. That was a special mod created or custom made for another YouTuber. So these things are great. They can be really useful for events or if you want role play and stuff like this, but this map particularly has everything. It's got a huge landscape, it's absolutely massive, different types of biomes, but all alien looking, but definitely stuff that you can utilize. Want a roadway so you can race stuff? Well, you've got it. It winds in and out of the area. Plenty of flat places, plenty of city places as well to build on, and just got a varied landscape as well. May need a little bit more of, I guess, not elevation, but certainly something underground to make people feel like they have got that tip box of aberration or some caves. And I'm sure there may even be that on here. I just didn't have the time to fully explore it 100%, but I really like the idea of this one. So ever since I see floating islands, but in a much prettier way on ISO's Crystal Isles map, it's become sort of a norm for a lot of fantasy map makers to add these huge floating islands, and they can be really good, especially for the wide variety of flyers that we do have in Ark. But mix that together with these huge meteorites that actually move in, and not just one, but loads of them, all just turning and rotating and moving around. It really adds, again, another outlet or world out there. It really changes Ark up. The biomes are really different as well. Each one of these islands houses or hosts something very unique and different, and some of them even have some ruins. Fractured gives you the best of flying around and making each biome a destination to get resources in an adventure, but also adds these extra bonus parts with the ruins. I really think it's a great mix. It's even got some aberration biome style ones or alien likes, but it is again the addition of roleplay items like bases or buildings or just ruins really adds something more to this that I really love in maps. And it has got all the biomes in it as well. So if you're a big fan of Scorched Earth, it's got a desert section and canyons. If you like the cold, it's got something like that as well. And each one of these lands has got that sort of landscape. So a flyer's paradise, but each one of these big enough that you could spend hours adventuring and gathering resources, with the extra bonus of these skyboxes filled with these meteorites that you could even land on. You can actually land on these as they're spinning and turning. Who knows, maybe you'll even be able to build a base on one of them one day. We're really getting crazy now with this one. This is Genesis that I kind of clickbaited the other day, showing you guys in a live stream while I recorded the footage for this. It's a really flashy, colourful world. It's not going to be to everyone's taste, but I really like the funness of it. It's made this huge techno dystopia, and it's definitely going to be good for roleplay and building. But it's also got its own unique systems like these portable train carriages that go around. There's other flying vehicles in it too. Not to mention stuff like this, a garbage collector in the poorer part of town. So if you get all the colourful, you go through a certain area and you're pretty much in Trash Town. And the nature of this map is you're meant to go around gathering bits of rubbish. You get bits of rubbish, you collect it, harvest it on the floor, then you bring it to vendors who will transfer it into Genesis tokens, and you can then use them Genesis tokens to buy tools, weapons, and possibly even your own hover bike. Now I couldn't get the hover bike to work unfortunately, but I really wish I could have. Hopefully I can find the codes one day to show this off again, but it'd be great for races, whatever you can have, even dinosaurs here. And it's not just this huge techno, buildings and colourfulness and stuff. There is actually an outside world map to it too. And it's actually really pretty considering what we've got in just one little corner. The rest of the world has got really nice biomes. It's a northern style map, like winter time, like snowy mountains and stuff like that, with a lot of it, but also got a little bit of alien influence with some of the foliage from Extinction, and a hell of a lot of wyverns that I forgot to put the command for leave me alone on. But yeah, definitely, if you want a bit of fun, a bit of roleplay, this could offer that. And with its own little unique system of buying and gathering resources, you could combine hopefully the rest of the world with some sort of games that you come into the centre of town to play or do. And just the landscape's crazy. Like I said, it might not be for everyone, but I really appreciate this is it. This is what's making Ark crazy, when you can really add and do stuff. And this must have taken such a long time. The map or mod creators from these don't often get paid. You're very lucky to get on the sponsored mod program, or to win one of the competitions that Wildcard have. So anyone that votes this much time with no guarantee of any reward other than hopefully people playing, I think it's great stuff. I do believe though this was made for a content creator specifically, or definitely had some help or influence with that creator. So yeah, it's not hopefully gone to waste, and you might have seen some content on this. It did confuse a lot of people thinking this was going to be the Genesis map. Come on guys, I mean it's great, but I don't think I could ever confuse this for something Wildcard would actually do. It's just definitely too different. One that's just been put into the sponsored mod program and it's still got a long way to go to be anywhere near complete is Fave. Now Fave is interesting because it's a reimagining, or basically a continuation of what happened when the arcs crashed to Earth and what happened when the island arc crashed to Earth. And that's why you can see sky around and you can see the supports that hold the arcs up that normally you can't see because they're in space. And this is the island reimagined with years of corruption and overgrowth and the Earth coming back into it and just melding together. What would the island be like in years to come? Including some shipwrecks that look like they've been borrowed from Atlas. I swear I nearly included that map in this one, but I won't be douchey. But yeah, I like the colours. There's something about the filters. Lots of mod creators have started to use this more and more. It feels like they're putting a film specifically on your screen basically when you're playing. So not only is the colours and the foliage different and alien-like, but the way that you view everything seems to come through a very different type of filter. And I like that as well. I think it adds something to it. So big well done for Faith. I think they also got like second or third place in the huge map competition, and maybe one day we'll see this as a free map coming. It's got all the points you'd come to expect, but hopefully a little bit more danger with the corrupted dinos running around a little bit too. I really like this trench cave as well. It's got all this thunder and lightning inside it going off, and we just came in at the right time. I was showing this off at the end of a live stream, so you want to see more footage of it, go and check out that live stream. But it's really cool. Trenches are just great, no matter what kind of wyvern it's for, whatever it's for. The way these mod creators make it their own is really fantastic. It wasn't until I came to Carnivore Island though, and this is pretty much Carnivore Island, and it's just so alien, it's so different but yet familiar, and I really like that idea of places you visited on the island for years, but all of a sudden they're massively changed, the landscape's been different. It reminds me of what it used to be like when we had the redwoods come in and they did major changes and took out the swamps and stuff. So great stuff. Hopefully Faith is going to come on leaps and bounds, and I hope all of these mods do get picked up or worked on in the future. Some of them haven't been. I'll leave it up to you to go and check it out if you're going to go and download it. Look to see when the last time one of these was updated. You may find it hasn't been updated in a year or so, so the chances are that map is pretty much dead. It's not easy making these maps for console, it really isn't. There's a whole process that goes through, and it can take up to 6 to 9 months to get just a very basic map. Despite, don't take this as an offence, but Valguero isn't the most complicated. It uses wholesale a lot of assets we've seen in other maps. It's not as big as some of the other maps we've seen as well, but it still took a hell of a long time to get that, and it was definitely not in a good state when it launched on Xbox or PlayStation. So there's always going to be issues and problems with just porting this over. It's not a simple process, but it is a dream. One day, hopefully, maybe the next gen, we'll be able to have the same sort of content that PC does on console like this. Hopefully one day. And I'll leave you with a map that you can no longer play, and it was really one of the first maps I've seen to really go out there and go crazy, and it was in the sponsored mod program for a while. It is Arc Moon. Now before all the big tubers got on this, I showed this off. I was one of the first to show it off 3 years ago when it first got announced and when it was first highlighted. It is a crazy map, not much going on, and the developers, whatever happened, they just stopped working on it. Maybe they got wind. At the time, it was before the full release of the game, and we knew some sort of DLC was going to come. I had it in my head that they actually got hired by the Wildcard developers, but they never did do that. They hired a bunch of other developers over the last few years, but not these ones as far as I know. The guys that made this just simply stopped working on it, and instead of just leaving it open for anyone to try and take over, they actually took it off Steam, so you can no longer download the Moon mod. But it would have been cool because it would maybe give a sneak glimpse of what it could be like on Genesis when the lunar surface appears in the next DLC for Ark Survival Evolved. So let me know what you think about all these maps. Let me know what's your favourite, and if I've missed out crazy ones, pop them in the description box down below and maybe I'll check them out for a future video. Also pretty maps, I'm looking for the prettiest, nicest looking maps, not just the craziest ones too. Let me know in the comment section. I am JADE-PLAYS-GAMES. I give you Ark Survival Evolved coverage content always. make sure you locked in, subscribed, and go and check me out on Mixer, where you'll see more of this gameplay every day.